What's the deal, everybody? Welcome back to the studio. Jeremy Deal here, and today we're going to be tackling Davinci Resolve Edit, and we're going to be talking about color grading using ACES. Now, I know I've talked about color grading before, but this is something different. This is the Academy Science Color Grading Foundation built directly into Davinci Resolve, so anyone with this program already has it. It is a very easy way to create more natural and realistic color tones in your images, and it also tends to tax the system a little less than my old grading way. So if you don't have a hardcore editing rig and you just have a regular computer, this might work best for you. Let's get into it. All right, y'all, new year, new background. Let's get into it. Open up Davinci Resolve. Now, the first thing I'll tell you is I went ahead and preloaded some footage in here just for this in particular. This is going to be the shots that we're going over. This is actually the footage from the opening clip that you just watched. This is some footage from my friend Sam, who has his own thing going on. You can check him out here. And lastly, we'll go over how to do it on something a little more difficult, which is a moving agent shot. These are both static shots, but I'll show you how easy this process is. Now, the first thing we're going to do is go on into our color tab. Here we go. Over here, if you can't see your effects, this is what we're going to be messing with mostly. So if you can't see it, it's this button right up here to the top. And if you scroll down, you'll see ACES Transform. This is what we're really messing with. And I'm going to show you more than just the basic ACES Transform. I'm going to show you that, then I'm going to expand it onto how I edit agent skin. The very first thing you're going to need to do is create 4 nodes. So you can either right click, you can add a node right here, add serial. If you are on a PC, you can Alt S, and if you are on a Mac, you can Option S. 4 nodes, just like that. We're going to drag this one on down here. These top 3 is where we're doing our ACES Transform. This is the basic part of the video. Everything past this onto this that we're about to build out, if all you care about is the ACES, you don't need any of this. This is to go above and beyond and create a final image for your agent interviews or whatever type of video you're doing with people in it. So from here, we're going to add a node, and we're going to add a parallel from here, which will add and set this up. And then we will need 2 more nodes after this. This is the full tree that I work with and everything that I'm doing right here. So these right here, we'll go ahead and label this first time. Node label. This one is going to be ACES in, and this one is going to be ACES out. And that will make sense in just a moment. We have one in the center, and this is an adjustment for need be. Now let's go ahead and drag our ACES on over here like this, and you'll notice it instantly gets transformed to this, and this is the beginning of the ACES process. First thing we're going to go to is the input transform. Once again, if you can't see this, it's under the effects tab right here. Just click it. First thing we're going to do is this first shot was shot on a Panasonic GH5S, so we're going to go down here to the Panasonic Vlog, and that is what it was shot in, and output transform. This is what we want to edit, or what main space we want to edit in. Now, there are 2 different ways I've seen this done. Some people use the ACES CCT right here. This seems to be the most popular method, but what I actually like to do is go down a little bit further, and I choose the RE log to edit in. And that's because I think it creates a more naturalistic skin tone. It isn't a huge difference, but in my opinion, I can see a little bit of difference. So this is your in transform. You can already see it's done a little bit. It's transformed over to the RE line. Now for the ACES out, we're going to once again drag over the ACES, and this is going to be from RE right here, and output this time is going to be Rec 709 because that's our finishing grade. That's what we want all the finished color space to be inside of, because it's what everything recognizes. Now, if you are just here for the ACES part, believe it or not, that's all you really need to do. We've done ACES in, we've done ACES out. Look at the before and after. Let's see if we can full screen it before and after. Look at the difference just from that small little adjustment, and we didn't really do anything. Now, I will tell you that this one I'm going to call log, because one thing I've noticed about my GH5S is that it always records a little pink. So I always have to drag a little bit of yellow back into my footage afterward to make it look better. That's why I put the one in between the two ACES. If you're all done with that, there you go. Thanks for watching. But if you want to bring this to the next level, let's keep on going. These two layers over here are important, and having them with this parallel mixer is very important. The first thing you're going to want to do is right click on this mixer or parallel node, and you want to change it into a layer mixer node right here. This will make sense in a moment. It's hard for me to explain without just showing it to you. So your top up here, we're going to go ahead and label that LUT, and that's where we're going to do our main grading of the footage. And down here is going to be skin, and that's what we're going to get into right now, the skin sampling. So what you want to do, zoom in a little bit. You can use the mouse wheel. You can either use Control or Option to scroll around as you need be. But we're going to come down here to our qualifier. Click the qualifier, and you want to make sure you have this selected right here, your main picker. This is the first thing you want to do. Make sure you have the right layer selected, which is skin. Make sure you have the qualifier selected over here, and press Shift H. This will allow you to see only what you've selected. Without Shift H, you would have to rely on this little thumbnail to know. Now, once you've done that, you can come down here and grab the plus, and this will allow you to add colors to your selection. Now, I'm not going to do a great selection here right now because I'm just here to show you the ACES process, but it does show you easily what this is all capable of and how easy it is to deal with. Now what you want to do is come over here to your vector scopes. If you don't have vector selected, it's this little thing right here. Click vector. If you don't see this white line, this is your skin graph line, or this is your skin indication line right here. This tells you your skin tone that you are shooting for. And it does not matter if you are Caucasian, African American, Asian, Spanish, any nationality, any race, you're basically looking for the same skin tone. So what we're trying to do is match this skin tone up right here, and we want to get the majority of it on the line. Now, this is where it's kind of important to get a good selection, because if you're selecting stuff that isn't your skin tone, it's throwing things into your equation that shouldn't be there. See how this cleaned up after I just brought this down a little bit? And now we can more accurately see our skin tones, and you want to try and line it up just like it's a little too much saturation. There we go, right there. There used to be a little notch right here, but I don't see it anymore in Davinci Resolve, and I don't know how to get it back yet. But there we go. There's the basis of a skin tone right there. Press Shift H again, and it will remove the selection option, and you can see instantly the difference in the skin tone that did. If you couldn't tell before, you can definitely tell now that it was off. Now comes the cool part with the LUT on top, and this is why this layer mixer node is so important. Now you can come over here from your LUTs, and you can basically grade anything. Let me show you an extreme example first. I'm going to show you why it's so cool. It's going to take everything that isn't selected by this layer and change it. And here's a good way to see exactly what I mean. See how all the skin tones are still intact? Make it full screen. All the skin tones are intact, but everything that I didn't select has been changed to that color. So let's get rid of that. We'll come over here and we'll grab some random LUT. Let's see, from skin, how about this one? Boom, there we go. And you can instantly see, we'll close this down again. Control F, look at that. You can see that the skin tones aren't affected, but everything else is. Now, this is an extreme example and a bad selection, so when I make it full screen, obviously you can tell on the beard. So this is why it's important to spend time on your selection, but this just shows you the power of the edit. Now that you've seen that part, we move on to the next, and these are kind of like the finishing touches, if you will. The very first thing we're gonna do right here is I'm gonna add a glow layer. And what this will do, it will allow you, it's hard to explain exactly what it does, but if you zoom in, you can see what it does, except for it makes skin tones look really nice for some reason. So I use glow right there. That's this main one right there. See how the skin just kind of pops a little more? And then the last thing we're gonna add right here is a vignette. And you don't have to do both of these. These are just very simple processes. Make it nice and big, like there we go. You want it to be nice and soft, and then open your global blend. Global blend is kind of like an opacity, for lack of a better term. If you're used to Photoshop or Lightroom, it allows a certain amount in. So there we go. We've got everything done. Now I'm going to show you one super finishing touch that you can overdo, so watch out. If you come down over here, make sure you're in your color wheels. You want to go to your log wheels, and you'll go down over here to your mid-tone detection. Now let me zoom into the face so you can see exactly what this is doing. It works really good on women's skin, and it works okay on men's skin. Women's skin, you can use it a lot. Men's skin, you can only use it a little bit, because look, if I crank it up, you can tell instantly what it does. It's basically like a clarity slider, for lack of a better term, for anyone used to Lightroom or Photoshop. And you can see, if you look over here, when I mess with it, it pumps everything up a little bit. So what I usually like to do on men, I'll bring it down to about -15, -20, somewhere around that. For women, you can bring it all the way down to 100 sometimes. But really, I usually don't like to push it past like 50. I think 50 is pretty hardcore, but -15, and this just makes the skin look a tiny bit better. It really helps in blending out those blemishes for a finalized product. You could also, if whatever your color grade you made you thought was a little too intense, you can grab it right up here, come on over to your keying mat, and this key output right here, your gain, this is another opacity slider for the node, for lack of a better term. So you can turn it all the way off. See how it goes away as you go down, and it comes back as you go up. So like I said, you can make it even more extent than you put it on. So 1 is like the normal. I usually bring down stuff like that to like 0.75 or something like that, so it's not super extreme. And there we go. There's the difference. We've already done it just like that. On to the next one, right? I'll show you how to do it again. Very simple, on a different camera, different skin, and I'll show you how you can use this technique to easily grade all of your footage to look similar. So if you shot multiple things on multiple cameras, multiple angles on multiple cameras, you can make everything look similar in the edit. So we're going to click on my buddy Sam right here. We're going to go to zoom to fit. And what we're going to do is we're going to hover over this one that we already created and press down on the middle mouse button, and that will steal that grade. Now, granted, we all know this is not going to look good because it was set for the Panasonic's camera and it was set for my skin. He is a different skin tone than me, so we'll have to reselect the skin for it to work properly. So the very first thing we want to do is get rid of these two. Clicking on the numbers down at the bottom will allow you to turn off that layer for a moment. First thing I want to do is grab the ACES, and as I said, this was not shot on a Panasonic. It was actually shot on a Sony A7R II, which uses the Sony, here we go, S-Log2 daylight setting. Boom, just like that. It already looks better. We can grab the log that was for mine that readjusted the color, and as you can tell, this is a little bit brighter, so we'll go ahead and bring that down. There we go, looking really nice. Now we can come on to the skin selection. Now, as we said before, this is not my skin, so we'll have to reselect it. Grab this right here. Once again, grab your picker, come on over here, press the reset button. That resets it all back to normal. Then Shift H again, and then select the skin, just like that. We're gonna come in, zoom in a little bit more. We will add the plus button selector right here and add the rest of his actual skin tone, so that way he doesn't look all blotchy. There we go. And once again, as I mentioned before, I'm not going to do a hardcore job right now. I'm just showing y'all what to do. This is a very bad selection. Spend time on your selection. And once again, press Shift H. That will go away. But we forgot, look at his skin tone. It's off for mine. So we have to recalibrate his skin tone just like that. And look, there you go. A more realistic skin tone, and it matches the same color scheme as before, but as you can tell, everything matches now. Boom. See how you cut that LUT back on? All colors are the same. All right, so the only thing left to do is the agent interview one, and this is the most difficult one because she's moving around. It always makes it more difficult. She's also very small in the frame compared to everything else, but all the same things still apply, and I'll show you exactly how I do it in a more real-time speed with less explanation than before. So just as before, I'm going to do all these things, add the parallel node right there, 2 more nodes at the end. Boom, there we go. This is going to be our ACES just like before. I'm not going to label anything this time. I'm just going to rock and roll through it just because that makes it go quicker. To Ari. And like I said earlier, please, if you like this information and you like the way I'm doing it, press that like button, mash subscribe, all that jazz. It really helps me with the algorithm. I'd appreciate it. But as you can see, still putting on this ACES transform to 709, and boom, ACES has been done. But as you can tell in this clip in particular, the colors are off. So we're gonna do a quick color grade. I'm gonna grab this little button right over here, which is the dropper, gray zone, there we go. We're gonna come over here and make sure we go back to here, bring up the gamma so it's nice and bright. There we go, and we've added some adjustments. We're gonna go to the skin tone qualifier right here. See how there's nothing coming up? It's because I don't have qualifier selected over here. There we go. We're just gonna leave it just like that, and her skin tones are pretty accurate already. There we go, just needed a little adjustment. All right, so now that we got the skin all selected, press Shift H, get rid of that. And instead of throwing on a LUT this time, what I'm actually gonna do is just decrease all the color and the darkness in the background so that way she pops out a little bit. If you can't tell, here we go. We're gonna give her a little bit of that mid-tone detection and bring up the skin tones a little bit. Come over here. Once again, I'm going to add that glow. And lastly, we will add that vignette. And there we go. Those skin tones are way better. I should throw a little stabilize on that because it looks horrible. But those are the basic ways to use this ACES transform. So that way you can see it's... Look at this. Instantaneously, it looks so much better than it did before. Roll on back to the studio. All right, there you go. That is ACES for you. That is a quick breakdown of what it is, how I use it, why and when I use it, and why I think it works better than other ways. It may not be your favorite, but like I said in the beginning, this is just another tool to add to your tool bag. Maybe you'll use it, maybe you won't. Either way, it's there for your use, and it's very, very easy to operate. As always, keep enjoying what you're doing, rock and roll, make smart business decisions, and I'll catch you next time.